Okay, so I will continue to explain the A4 paths, and let me share with you the screen. Last time, I discussed in general. These are the A4 paths. The wise view or understand wise intention, that's in the wisdom categories. It will affect to how we speak, how we act, how we choose our career, or profession, or jobs. But in order to maintain the right views and intentions, we need to have some sort of mind training. That's why we have wise concentration, wise mindfulness, and wise effort. So at first, the Buddha lists out what we call wise understanding, a wise view. So if we don't have the right view of life, we see things in the negative way. It will affect to how we live. For example, if we view that people go against us, we will have much stress and anxiety. But if we view them as friends, family members, or relatives, it's much easier for us to interact and work with them. And so that's why in psychology it's better to have a positive mind in any aspects of life. For example, a student may have a low rate on a test, but if they have the positive mind, they may think, okay, this time I have a low rate, but I will try my best next time. I will get better rate next time. So with that kind of positive mind, it will encourage them to work further. Otherwise, if they have the negative mind, they say, oh, I fail again, and next time I may fail again. So it will discourage them to do the work of the test. So that's why here at the beginning the Buddha said that we have to have the right views of life. We need to understand reality of life, and here we discussed last time the three characteristics of existence: the anatta, dukkha, anicca, that's mean impermanence, sufferings, not self. So if we understand those things, it's much easier for us to go with the day. For example, let's say in our relationship with our friends, somehow one day they love us, another day they turn us down. So with that type of changing attitude or treatment, if we don't understand about the impermanence of the mind, we may be frustrated, and we say, why do you change that? Why do you change your attitude toward me? Why do you treat me in that way, and so forth? But if you understand, okay, probably today they have a bad day, that's why they turn us down, that's why they give us hard time. But if for the next day they may have good mood, if they are in good mood, they could go back and treat us nicer. So with that understanding of impermanence of the mind, thinking, much easier for us to accept the situation. And the suffering, again, unsatisfactory. Nothing can be satisfied for us. So whichever thing we do, if we expect that things should satisfy us, there's no way for us to have that type of ideal satisfaction. For example, like when you're taking a test, if you think, I would receive an A on the test, but when you receive the result back, you have only B plus or B, you may frustrate, you may disappointed. So depend upon how you did on the test, how you spend your time on studying, and how hard the tests are, and so for this many factors that can contribute to the results of your test. So again, in the real life, it's not easy to find something that's really satisfy us, so we just accept the situation. And the last one, the anatta, that means not self. That means if you understand that there's no real self in the mind, in the thought, because the thoughts are changing constantly, and the body is changing moment by moment. The physical body, like even the cell, they grow and die in our body until we're done with this life. So nothing lasts forever, and even environment too. Our circumstances outside them, there's no real self at all. So if we understand that it's not thing for us to attach to, if something happen, we can accept and move on. So with this kind of understanding, the three characteristics of persistence, it's easy for us to move on in life. Otherwise, if we think, I have a real self, for example, with my body, and if someone hit us, if someone score us, that attach to the self, with that attachment to the self, we may be more suffering than okay. So they slander us, they score us, and that's just the problems. They praise us or they put us down. That's their choice. We cannot control others. The only thing we can control is ourselves. So with that kind of understanding, it's much easier for us to let go of other people's mistake, whether they try to bully us, put us down. That's their problems. They have to deal with their mentality and their action, and eventually they have to pay for their karmas. So if they praise us, it would not make us much, and if they pull us down, it would not change our personalities. So it is up to them. It is their choice, but we know who we are. So that's why it's better to understand this type of three characteristics of persistence and move on in life. Otherwise, if we attach to the self, if we attach to the thinking, let's say if someone says something that may go against our thinking, and if we have the open-minded, okay, that is their point of view. Our point of view is maybe different from them, so everyone has different point of views. So with that type of understanding, we would not have much conflict. But if we try to control what they want to say, what they want to think, without controlling, we may bring this suffering to ourselves and others. Because if they don't say something in the way that we want to, we be frustrated, be angry, and they stress out too. They have to find a way how to say something that according to our wish, without controlling, like the dictatorship, or some dictators, or even in the communist country, they try to control the mass. But if the mass or the public would not follow their way, they have all kind of conflicts with the publics. So anyway, go back That's why the Buddha say these three characteristics so important for us to recognize. And okay, so the next thing I want to talk is the karma, and of course everyone know what's meant by karma, and that's related to the cause and effect. We need to have that kind of understanding clearly. Otherwise, if we don't understand and recognize the cause and effect, we wouldn't care much about other people. For example, we know that everyone want to live, no one want to die. Everyone want to protect their wealth, no one want to lose their wealth. Everyone want to protect their family members, and so forth. So that's common sense. But let's say if we want to protect our wealth, but we step out to steal other people's wealth, our properties, it go against the cause and effect. And we will have to pay for that price to steal other people's properties. But when we share with other people, definitely they would love and care for us. So that's what the karma is about. It's just all kind of information that we can discuss about karma, all kind of karma that we may let me stop here. We may understand. Let me share with you the file about karma. Let's see here. Again, it's all kind of karma, but in general, there's some typical karmas that we can learn. This type of karma, reproductive karma. So like the body karma is composed of the elements of earth, water, wind, and fire, according to Buddhist view, and it's also the four derivatives of karma: the color, odor, taste, nutritive essence that we consume, and the sex and the seat of consciousness. That means we came here because our parents' union, and the consciousness that transform from one lifetime into others. And that's the reproductive karma. Supportive karma, that means when we do something, other people come and support us. That's called supportive karma. And the other one is obstructive karma or counteractive karma. Like when we do something, people come to obstruct us, to stop us from doing something. Like when we establish a business, for example, someone try to obstruct us, like they may put our names, information, our website in a negative way, that may affect to the way that we will run the business. On the day that you are going to take the test, somehow you encounter a car accident, the dispute or the conflict that disturbed your mentality, that you could not focus your mind enough to take a test. And the next one, destructive karma, is similar to obstructive karma. That let's say like the COVID-19, somehow it came suddenly, and we lost our job. We could not go to school in a normal pace. Someone burned our house or car and so forth. That's called destructive karma. And the weighty karma has been if something strikes us, like car accident, a nature disaster, the flood, the hurricane strike us, that we lost our properties, we lost our money, we lost our car, and so forth. It's so heavy that it affects our life mm, uh, totally. And like the COVID-19 strike too many families. They were sick, they lost their family members and so forth. That the weight is karma. And the next one is the near-death karma. Is the karma that's before we pass away. It's like the fruit has been ripened and be ready to fall down. In our life, we try our best to help other people. So like in our life, we have done all kind of good deeds, and at the end of our life, we could remember all of those good deeds, and those good deeds will lead us to the good destination. And vice versa, there's some criminals in their life, they harm so many people, and on the verge of death, they were terrified, they were worried, they were frightened, and they don't know where they're heading to, and that's the time for them to pay their karma for the next life. And so on, the next one is habitual karma. That means with everything we have to rate, like our habit of drinking alcohol, habit of drinking beer, the habit of smoking, gambling, and so forth, that lead us to the same paths. And of course, not a bad habit. The good habit is like we wake up early in the morning, we prepare for our test, and so forth. And the next one is what they call the reserve accumulative karma. Like when we go out to work and we get the paycheck. After having the paycheck, we may save a couple $100 in our saving account, so that whenever we have problems, we can use that saving account to pay the mortgage, insurance, and so forth. Like during the COVID-19, some people, if they have enough saving, they can handle their financial situation. So all of them are what we call individual karma and collective karma. That means when we live together with our spouse, our friends, our family members, we share certain types of karma. But of course, everyone has different individual karma. For example, even the twins, brothers or twin sister, they have similar features physically, but mentally, spiritually, they are different. But of course, they share collective karmas at the twins, at the brother and sister, or let's say the couples. During the COVID-19, the husband may lose a job, and the wife still working, so the wife would support the husband and vice versa. So that's called collective karma. So in general, there's all kind of karma that we can discuss about. So let me go back to the definition of karma as well as the meaning of karma. There's all kind of karma that we drive ourselves, and all kind of karma is that we are affected by other people. So here in the wise understanding, we need to understand the meaning of karmas. We need to understand the function of karmas, and basic understanding that if we want people care for us, if we want people love us, if we want to protect our life, if we want to protect our properties, we need to do so to other people. We need to care for others. We need to love others. We need to protect other people's lives and properties. So the cause and effect will go hand in hand. But in one way, we want to be loved, we want to be cared of, but when we go out, we don't care about other people, we harm other people. So there's no way for them to care for us, there's no way for them to love us. So that's why with this type of wise understanding of karma, whenever we do things, we base upon this kind of understanding. That's why as we need to change our view, to recognize that everyone want to live, no one want to die. Everyone want to be happy, no one to be suffer. That means we need to help other people to enjoy their happiness. That's the way we can help ourselves to enjoy our happiness too. And together with understanding of the three characteristics of a system, it's much easier for us to handle the life. And of course, with wise understanding, we need to understand the Four Noble Truths according to Buddhist view. So that's the basic one, the first one, the wise view. And changing the thought is one of the challenge. And also in this wise intention or right intention, we need to develop what we call loving kindness, goodwill, friendliness, compassion, harmlessness, patience, generosity, and so on. Because here, on the top, the first one, when we talk about the wise view, we understand about the karma, we understand about the three characteristics of the system, the varieties of life. And that's why we want to develop our mind in the way that according with the law of cause and effect. So again, if we want other people to be patient with us, we need to be patient. If we want other people to be nice or help us, we need to be generous. If we want other people to love us, we should develop the love and kindness, goodwill, and friendliness. Otherwise, there's no way for them to approach us in this manner. If we want other people to be compassionate to us, we need to develop that compassion. If we don't want other people to harm us, we need to develop what we call harmlessness. So these are the wise understanding, wise intention. When we interact with other people, we need to have this wise intention. So renunciation, patience, and generosity would help us to free from lust. Renunciation, that means we denounce the bad deeds. We have to be patient with other people. We have to be generous. So most of the time, the reason why we suffer because of our lust, of our greed. So to deal with that type of greed or craving, we need to develop our generosity to give out instead of taking in, because we want all people to share with us. So if we understand that, we can develop that type of generosity. And if we want to transform the anger, we need to develop loving kindness, goodwill, and friendliness. So that is the important intention that we should have. So again, when we study about the second truth, that the cause of suffering that come from lust, craving, and the anger. So these are the antidotes of lust and ill will, anger. So in order to have peaceful mind, a peaceful life, we need to develop this kind of loving kindness, goodwill, and friendliness. And in order to be free from cruelty, we need to develop this one, the compassion, harmlessness, no injury. That's what they call in Buddhism, karuna. So again here, when we develop the denunciation, to let go of the bad karma, bad deeds, and the patience as well as generosity, we would be free from lust, from craving, and that would help us to be content instead of being suffer because of our lust. And again, because all beings want to be happy, that's why we need to develop this kind of mind setting, loving kindness, goodwill, and friendliness. And all beings fear violence. That's why we need to develop compassion, harmlessness, and non-injury. So with this kind of approaches, it's better for us to have the happiness and peacefulness in our life. So that is the second one, the wise intention. So whichever thing we do, we need to base upon those thoughts. Because if we have a wrong thought, like instead of being generous, if we have greedy mind, we can create the suffering for ourselves and others. Let's say in the relationship, then if you go out with your friends, and if you just think that your friend's supposed to buy a gift for you, but you don't care much about buying gift for them, so that's only one way street. It won't last long. Probably that's one of the first and last time they may hang around with you. Of course, when you say, "Oh, okay, they buy for you this gift," and you buy another special gift for them, there's a change. The gift can strengthen the relationship. So that's one example. So that's why intention is so important. The mind setting, we have to have a right mind setting of wise understanding, and we have to have the wise intention to do things in the positive way, in the loving kindness way, in the compassionate way, because everyone want to be cared of, everyone want love, and so forth. So with this wise understanding and wise intention, it will affect how we say something, because the mind is a source of leader. The mind is like the driver, the body is like the cars. If we have the nice cars, but the bad driver, the driver could harm the car easily. Even we have the old cars, second-hand cars, but if we have good driver, they know how to drive the car around. So do the mind. So whether we're young or old, as long as we have good intention, good thought, it will lead us how to say things. Let's say because of compassion, we will have non-violent communication, like compassionate speech, empathic speech, that connect ourselves to others. Like if you have compassion toward your friends. Um, if you see they have not finished their homework, you can say something that encourage them to finish their homework in compassionate way, in the understandable way. They would appreciate that. But if you put them down, you say, "Oh, they homework is so easy. The test so easy. Why don't you study hard?" and so forth and so forth. With that kind of discouragement, your relationship with them would not be last long. But if you give them some kind of understandable encouragement, give them the encouragement to study hard and so forth, will be a boost for them to study. So again, for this wise speech, it go hand in hand with wise intention and wise understanding of life. So that's why when go out there, we need to restrain ourselves from untruthful words, from lying, from exaggeration, omission, gossip, slander, because it creates disharmony, discord, and we need to refrain from harsh speech, angry speech, abusive speech. Whoever we deal with, whether we talk with our spouse, our children, our friends, and so forth, we need to refrain from those negative speech and idle chatter, and to see whether it's helpful for us to talk with other people or not. For let's say for gossiping, we need to recognize that they create discord, disharmony among ourselves. And if we have harsh speech, angry speech, abusive speech, it may raise all kind of negative emotion toward other people. So that's why with the wise speech, we can refrain from those negative, harmful speech, to maintain the relationship with other people, to maintain the understanding with each other, because through the speech we understand other people's mind, other people's action. The speech is the way to communicate with each other as human. So that's why we need to provide this kind of compassionate speech, understandable speech, non-violence speech, and so forth. Because it's come from our good heart, come from our compassion, come from our good intention, harmlessness intention, and so forth. And you see that the mind is the leader. Up here, the mind is the driver. It leads us how to communicate with other people. If we have the good thought, if we have compassionate thought, we will express ourselves with compassionate speech. Okay, and the next one, right action, is the same way too. As much as we have the right intention and right view of life, so with our action we need to restrain ourselves from killing, from stealing, from sexual misconduct, from drinking alcohol or intoxicate ourselves, because no one wants to be harmed, no one wants to be killed. That's why we need to restrain from this type of killing, karma, and we need to be kind to other people. We need to provide service to other people, to provide the safety, the trust, with compassionate action, so that we can minimize the harm. Whichever beings we deal with, whether they're human or animals, one else, as long as we understand the law of karma that other people don't want to be killed, don't want to be harmed. So do we. That's why we need to refrain from that kind of killing. And this works the same way. No one want to lose their wealth or properties. Everyone want to protect their wealth and properties. That's why we're not supposed to take things that's not given to us, does not belong to us, and instead we should be generous toward other people so that we can connect to others. So this is common themes, a universal value of every tradition that encourage the followers to step out to help other people in needs. When nature disasters strike us and others, we step out to help ourselves and others too. And that's why instead of taking other people's properties, we need to be generous to step out to help others, to take care of others, to support others, so that we can bring the joy and the happiness to ourselves and others. So that's what the second one, restrain ourselves from taking what's not belong to us or what has not given to us. And the next one, the harmful sexual act, we need to restrain, because when we make the commitment with our spouse, we want to nurture that love in the relationship. If we break that kind of trust, there's no way for us to maintain a happiness in our families. So that's why we need to restrain ourselves from this type of harmful sexual act. Of course, it's based upon the greedy mind, and we need to let go beyond our small self when we live together with our spouse, with our family members, especially with our spouse. We need to care for them, whether they are our husband and wife. And with that care, they would recognize, and in return they would care for us. If we don't care about our spouse, there's no way for them to care for us. So that's why we need to restrain from cheating our spouse, or having any kind of harmful sexual relationship. The last one is restrain ourselves from taking intoxicant, drinking alcohol, illegal drugs, because we want to remain pure and clean. If we drink alcohol and intoxicate ourselves, there's no way for us to have the pure mind or clear mind. So that's why for the wise action we have to follow that kind of universal value. And the next one, with the wise intention to help other people, with the wise understanding of life, it relates to the next step is a wise livelihood. That means we need to pick up or choose the right occupation, right profession, based upon those right mind. So we need to find the jobs that nurture well-being for ourselves and others, instead of harming others. So in Buddhist view, any occupation that harm other people or sentient beings, we need to stay away. Like being hunter, butcher, selling flesh, human trafficking, selling poison or weapons, in slave and prostitution, and even become a fisherman in Buddhist view is still there is some type of karma, because you go out to fish the fish, and thus you may bring the harm to others. Of course, when we talk about the soldier, it's considered controversial matters. In one way, when you go out to be arms to protect the country and communities, you very good karma there. On the other hand, even when you shoot down other human beings, whether they are enemies or friends, still that's there is some type of karma too, recurring karma. So that's why unless it's necessary, otherwise for the Buddhists it's better to have second thought about being soldier. Of course, there's some Buddhist soldiers there, but if they follow the rules of engagement in battlefield, if they follow the rules, if they respect the life of other people, there's good soldier to protect their countries and communities. That's very good, but they have to be careful when they play around with weapons. Of course, another one is like soothsaying, trickery, deceit, and we know that it's not the profession, occupation that a Buddhist need to engage into. And of course, trading arms, trading weapons, engaged in human trafficking, especially even nowadays, in modern age, is quite illegal. We have to pay for the price, and even high pressure seamanship. Sometimes we need to put consideration in some occupation that you can get the high salary, but somehow it may bring the harm to others, or may not benefit much for other people. You need to think about that. So anyway, so the idea is that we need to choose the career, the profession that can bring the benefit for ourselves and others. We can have good salary, we have high salary, but in meantime we can help other people. For example, the field in education and in healthcare, most of the time is it may bring the benefit for ourselves and others. As a professor, teacher, we just deliver or pass down the knowledge to the next generation. As a doctor, the nurse, they supposed to provide the treatment for the sick people, for the one that were in injury, and so forth. So that is good occupation, profession in Buddhist view. While they receive the good salary, they still helping others. This is the examples of good occupation. Of course, in life, there's all kind of occupation or profession that we may need to consider before we get involved into. Of course, even in education, in healthcare, if we don't have good intention to help others, if we base upon the salary, that means if we just think about our own benefit, eventually even those professions are proper, but in the end we may harm others. For example, there's many doctor, some not many, but some a few doctor or nurses, they engage in medical fraud, Of course, they have to pay for the price later on. And some or few teachers and professors may engage in some kind of fraud too. So, of course, it's still rare in our society nowadays, but it still happens. If they just think about their own benefit and they may not pay attention much about other people's benefit or well-being, they have to pay for the price later on. So again, this type of wise livelihood is so important, especially for the student. When you guys are still in college, you need to choose the proper career, proper profession that can earn high salary and at the same time can help other people too, like the two professions that I can mention recently, education and healthcare. But please remember that intention is so important. Wise intention. Your intention is to teach and pass down the knowledge to the next generation, not to be professors. A teacher is because you want to have a high salary. Of course, without salary or compensation, you will not survive. But you enter that type of field, or professional field, is not because of making more money, but you love student. You want to pass down your knowledge to your student with that kind of right intention. Your jobs will be beneficial, be more fruitful and joyful. Otherwise, you may create a bad karma later on with all kind of fraud, like in the medical field. You may not satisfy with your own salary, and you may use some scam, find some way to get the money quick, and at the end you have to pay for the price with those fraud. So again, you have to enjoy your profession, whether it's teaching, helping patients and so forth. It would last longer. So again, as a student, you need to pick up your own occupation and career that could help you to earn good income, and at the same time to help others. Okay, so again, those are the occupation that the Buddha advised us to stay away. This one here, like being hunter, being butcher, selling flesh, trading animals, trading human, trading weapons and so forth. We need to stay away from them. So these are the what we call right livelihood, and the next one what we call the wise effort. So with right understanding of life, especially karma, with right intention of loving kindness, compassion and so forth, we express ourselves through our action, our speech, our occupation, but we need to put the effort, some effort to work on that part. It's like when you plant the trees, when you plant the seed to the ground, you need to put the water, you need to put the fertilizer, you need to do the gardening, so that your trees, your vegetables could grow healthily. Otherwise, if you don't pay attention on them, if you don't nourish them, it's not easy to maintain that type of right mindset in right speech or right action. So here, when we talk about wise effort, so here the Buddha said that we keep unwholesome karma from arising. Like we keep greed, hatred, and delusion from arising by guarding our sense. Now we watch our sense. We have to be mindful with our sense. Otherwise, it's not easy. For example, let's say we know that we need to protect our wealth and other people's wealth, but somehow let's say while we are eating at a restaurant, and somehow some people drop $100 bill on the floor, and if we are greedy, we could pick up that $100 bills and put into our pockets. That's for our selfish approach. But if we think about all those, someone dropped these $100 bills, they may need this much money to pay for their utilities, their food, whichever, and plus on the top that this $100 bill is not our money, so we can go to the cashier and ask them to announce who dropped this bill. So that's why when we see that bill on the floor, we keep our mind at bay. We recognize, when we have greedy mind to pick up that bill and keep ourselves, that's not good, that's wrong. So that's why we need to put the effort to eliminate those unwholesome thoughts from arising. So basically we bring into the well-being, that we develop the wholesome karma, wholesome thought, like love and kindness and wisdom, like I mentioned about that story. So in general, this wise effort has two pairs. The first pair is that if we have not developed the wholesome deed yet, we need to do so. That's the first one. And if we have done the good deeds, like helping the poor people, we need to do more. The one pair. Another pair is that if we have done, if we had raised some bad deeds, unwholesome deed, like stealing or slandering other people, we need to stop now. If we have not those bad karma yet, so don't do it now. So that's basically the two pairs. That in the wise effort we need to do that. So that you understand this one. Okay, so since time is up, let me stop here. So next time I will talk about meditation, two types of meditation: vipassana and samatha.